All right, we got a rhombus, A, B, C, D, and they want us to find a bunch of different things, starting with the coordinates of M, which is the midpoint. Okay, and they also want us to find the value of A in coordinate A, and they want us to find B in coordinate and C in coordinate C, and then the perimeter and then the area. All right, so things to remember about a rhombus. Rhombuses are parallelograms, but they're special. Their diagonals bisect each other, and they also are perpendicular to each other, which not all parallelograms are. And like I said, the diagonals will bisect each other, so that means that both the diagonals will get cut in half at that point. And the other thing to remember is that all the sides of a rhombus are equal to each other. That's part of what makes a rhombus a rhombus. It's a parallelogram where all the sides are equal. And the other thing to remember is that the diagonals will bisect the angles, which is not really relevant in this particular problem. Okay, so take a look at the strategy. There's several things I would first do is I'd find the midpoint. They gave us 2 points, and we just got to find the midpoint. That should be easy enough. Then what we've got to do is find the slope of VD, because then we know that our AC line is going to be perpendicular to that. And then once we know the equation of the line, we can find out what A is by plugging in the 1. And then once we know what A is, that's the end point. We'll have the midpoint, and so then we can find the other end point. And then as far as doing perimeter, we can find lengths, and then area, it's just 1/2 the diagonals times each other. So go ahead and pause this and try doing those things, and then start back up again when you're ready. Okay, awesome. So here we go. We got the midpoint formula right here. X plus x over 2, y plus y over 2. All I do is plug in my values. Be careful when I'm adding and all that stuff. But I find out the midpoint M is 6, 6. Now in part B, I'm going to find the slope of BD using the slope formula. And that's going to be -2. And once I know that AC's slope is going to be perpendicular. It's going to be 1/2. And when I use the point 6, 6, which is on the line AC, I find the equation for AC is y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And see, now that I got the equation, which is basically a recipe for all the points, if I plug in the 1, I can find out that A is equal to -4. So now I've got that point. And if I'm going to go ahead now and find the other point C, I've got an end and a middle. I need to find the other end. So all I do is kind of use the midpoint formula backwards, and I find out that point C is 16, 11. And then to find the length, all I do is use distance formula for one side and then multiply it times 4. And then to find the area of the rhombus, I multiply. I have to find the length of each diagonal, which again, I'm just using the distance formula. And then when I'm going to multiply the 2 diagonals, and then you can either divide them by 2 or multiply them by 1/2. So in this case, it's going to be the square root of 80 times the square root of 500 times 0.5, which is equal to 100 units squared. All right, that's all there is to that. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.